Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, ma'am. Good afternoon po.
Hi, good afternoon, ma'am. Change lang ako ng ng background.
Yeah, it's all right. Good
Mm,
afternoon, Sir G,
okay.
Attorney Elaine. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello. Good afternoon po.
Good afternoon po.
And yeah, we are live. We are live na Len, no? Yes, ma'am.
Mm.
Yeah, good afternoon sa inyo mga Kapex Pro. Yan. Good afternoon sa ating um, mga nagagwapuhang mga guests for this afternoon. Sir Jean, would you like to pull up your video?
Palit lang ako, ma'am, ng background.
All
Anyway.
right. Mag-share lang ako ng ating Facebook page. I mean, ng Facebook live natin for this afternoon. Okay.
Are we live na po ba, ma'am? Okay.
Yes, we are live na
Okay.
ni
Okay,
live na
sige.
ni
Okay,
ni
okay.
Nilen. Okay, so magandang hapon, but um para mabati na natin yung ating mga viewers, yung ating mga masugid na taga-subaybay ng Pix Pro. So, ayan. Oh, there. Hello, Sir Jean.
Hello
Ayan.
po.
Yan, okay. Ang ating mga guests ay from BSP, but later I will introduce you formally. Ang first part ng ating kwentuhang cybersecurity is we will may kumusta, parang ang social. Ay mag-shoutout tayo ng ating mga viewers, no? So, it's the first Friday of April. Grabe, sobrang bilis, no? Parang meron pa yata akong mga Christmas gifts na hindi pa nabubuksan. Tapos ito na, malapit lang ulit magpasko naman ng pagkabuhay. Um, ang bilis, no? Ang bilis. And ang susunod niyan ay actually pagmulat natin ulit, eleksyon na pala, no? Ganun kabilis. And I just hope that everybody who's watching us or listening to us, no, ay safe from this very high heat index. Sa inyo din po, uh, Sir Jean and Attorney Elaine, I hope that you are all okay, no, at keep yourselves hydrated.
Yes, thank you po, Ma'am Ruby.
Dahil napakainit. Attorney Elaine, matanong ko lang, anong batch mo sa AIM?
Actually, executive course kami last
Ah,
2022.
ah,
Professor namin si Sir Angel.
kasi
Tapos
ako,
Sir Ashley. Mm.
batch 3 yata ako.
Oo, kalimutan ko na yung batch ko. Sorry. But during our batch, we have lots from participants from the BSP as well. Actually, more on lawyers who participated in the AIM executive program. And we had some batchmates din from the military and the police. So medyo well represented kami during that uh, yung batch namin.
I see. Oh, kami din, meron din. But
Oo.
as far as I can remember, parang meron kaming foreigner
Oo.
na
Yes.
na classmate
Mm.
from Singapore.
Oh.
Yeah, so ganun yung nare-reach nung ating executive
Um,
course name niya during that time.
mm.
Okay, Attorney and Sir Jean, babati lamang ako sa ating mga
Sure,
viewers.
thank
No?
you.
So, I would like to say ito, unang-una sa aking screen, si Kurt Osano. Kurt Osano, good afternoon sa iyo. And also si Michael Reyes. Ayan, hello, hello sa iyo. And si Jobelisa Duarte. Good afternoon. Watching siya from Ascot, Baler. And also si Rica Quinto Berdin from Ascot, Baler. Alam niyo po, Sir Jean and Attorney Elaine, we have a very active chapter
Yes, po.
in
Yes, yes.
Aurora.
Oh, okay.
No? Yes, so as in meron silang mga regular sessions or activities concerning mga cybersecurity awareness.
Yeah.
Kaya snappy salutes sa ating chapter, no, sa Aurora. Ito, diretso na natin si Ray Marth, also from Ascot, Baler, si Christian Pasion, and si J.M. Emerson Espiritu. They're both from Ascot, Baler. Ayan. Okay. At mabatiin ko lang ulit yung aking kapatid na si Ruel Dagli. Hindi yata ako narinig last time, no? Birthday niya. Sana dumating na yung pansit at yung cake. Okay, belated na sa'yo. Pero naghihintay pa rin ako sa pansit at cake. Alright.
Okay, ako rin
And
po, pwede ba mag-shoutout din ako?
yes po.
Yung
Yes,
mga
go
teammates
ahead.
po namin sa Investigation and Prosecution Group 4 ng OGCLS po. Hi. Actually, nasa flight sila ngayon eh. They were supposed to join us now. Pero sa biyahe.
Okay. Ay, hello. Shout
And,
out sa inyo dyan. Ingat po sa biyahe.
ingat po.
Yes. Ikaw, Sir Jean, baka meron kang isi-shoutout dyan.
Yes po, shoutout po sa mga office mates po namin from the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, from ibang group po ng OGCLS din na naka-tune in din po ngayon. Good afternoon po sa lahat.
Yan. Alright. Good afternoon sa mga office mates ni Sir Jean at Attorney Elaine. At ito na si Mr. Chair. Hello, Mr. Chair. Magandang hapon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon po, sir.
Yan, sir. Sir Angel. Hello po.
Kumusta? Maraming salamat ha.
Sir.
Sa pagbigyan ninyo.
Chance
Oo.
meeting you last week, sir, sa airport.
Oo nga eh. It was very timely. It was very timely talaga. Good afternoon. Jean, good afternoon.
Yeah,
Yes, sir. Good afternoon po.
Shoutout na kami, Mr. Chair. Si Sir Jean at si Attorney, nagpa-shoutout na rin siya sa mga office mates nila.
Mag-share lang din ako.
Ayan, okay. Si Patrick Sulit, hello, good afternoon sa'yo. And also si Gabriel Bitong, who's also watching from Ascot Baler. And good afternoon from Aaron De Los Reyes. At babati muna mula sa La Union si Kenneth Nartates. Ayan. O, diba? Alam mo, sobrang excited ako sa episode natin for this afternoon kasi this is just enacted law, tama ba?
Yes po.
We will discuss, o diba? Kaya
Barely a year.
yes, kaya talagang nakaka-excite itong ating afternoon na ito. And papangunahan ko na kayo, Sir Jean and Attorney Elaine, that there will be a part 2.
Oh, okay.
There will be
Sige
a
po.
part 2 of this session, no? So,
Alright.
once na ma-craft na yung IRR nito, or rather, ma-finalize na, and then, there will be the part 2.
Okay po, sige.
Parang nagkakaroon ng pag-asa yung mga yung mga biktima ng scam. Ang dami kasing lumalapit din sa amin na nagpapatulong na ma-scam. Ayun, dead end nga. Kahit na may pangalan yung bank account, kahit alam kung saang branch na deposit yung pera ng scammer, sa scammer, wala. Dead end talaga. Hindi na mag-usad yung investigation.
Opo.
Yan. Totoo. Oops.
Ayan. So magandang hapon sa lahat ng ating mga viewers. Ang kasi nito, ang daming nag-view after na kasi na-upload ito sa ating YouTube at sa ating Facebook mismo din. So nagkakaroon tayo ng thousands of views, no? So at least mapaabot sa kanila na hindi na pala hindi na dead end yung ma-scam ka. Saka yung mga nilalapit sa amin na mga na-scam, umabot na ng hundreds of thousands. May more than 1 million
Yeah.
na pera na scam. Kawawa. Grabe. Yung staggered na payment ba na lagi silang hinihinga ng pera. So this is the light at the end of the tunnel ito.
Yes. Very true.
Of course, very proud tayo kasi si Attorney Alain, tsaka yung mga kasama niya sa BSP na tatlo pa. VP Ruby, graduate din sila nung ano natin, executive course sa AIM. Si VP Ruby din is a graduate of that course.
Nga po, sir.
Oo, yan. Na-imarites ko na sa kanya kanina.
Opo.
Na batch 3. Kaya lang si attorney hindi niya maalala yung kanyang batch. Si Sir Jean ba? Nag-ano ka rin doon?
Hindi pa po. He just joined BSP lang din po eh.
Yes po,
Ah,
maybe in the future po.
Maybe in the
Ma'am.
future, yeah. I'm still
Ako, wala
convincing
na.
him.
Tinigil na namin yung program sa...
Mm.
Pero ililipat namin. We are... kami ni Deputy Director General Ace Asidilio ngayon sa NICA Cyber. We are looking for other schools, no? Na may ano natin, medyo mas mura. Kasi medyo mahal doon sa AIM.
Ayan. Uy, grabe meron dito sobrang excited na viewer natin, no? Itago natin sa pangalang Christopherson Dizon Laguatan. Good afternoon mga Kapix Pro. Excited to watch this as I am preaching compliance with AFASA and awareness to all against fraud. Oh, di ba?
Nasa risk kasi si Tops, nasa
Tops.
risk siya
Yeah.
ng Bank of Makati.
Okay. Yeah. So, Tops, may part 2 to ha. Oh,
Sana matapos na yung IRR.
yes, oo. Yun.
Sir, na-expedite na po natin yan.
Excited.
Yeah.
Excited dito dahil yung nga nabanggit ko nga sa iyo Attorney Alain nung nagkita tayo, yung plano din namin na to boost yung help natin sa mga sa community, yung
Yes
mga
po, sir.
biktima.
We can help you with that, sir. Lalo po sa pag-expose po with this new law on
Sana pag natapos na yung IRR, we can for every barangay siguro na pupuntahan natin or every municipality, no?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, because that's what we do. We go to barangays, no? Ng aming cybersecurity awareness. No, nung nagkaroon din kami ng partnership with the TSWD,
Oo. Yun din.
pumunta rin kami.
Child
Yeah.
sexual abuse.
Yes, oo. So yun, kailangan yun ang kailangan natin. Now with this new law, na isasama natin, integrate natin, Mr. Chair, sa ating slides, no? Presentation sa kanila.
It's a breath of fresh air talaga ito.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so Mr. Chair.
Okay. Siguro introduce na natin yung ating mga bisita.
Yes, but before the formal introduction, let me just say hi to Rod Quinto, who's currently watching.
Si Cyber Ninja.
Yeah, Cyber Ninja. Hello, hello sa iyo. All right.
Saka meron tayong viewers from University of Makati, UST. Meron tayo sa Industrial Security. Yung ating Vice President din, si Kuyang George.
Yes, si VP George.
Mayroon tayong Aurora Baler. All over the country yung kasi natin viewers, sana maipasa nila sa mga pamilya nila itong information na makukuha nila ngayon.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Let's start the ball rolling.
All right. So again, good afternoon sa inyong lahat mga ka-Pix Pro and welcome to this session of Kwentong Cybersecurity. I'm excited ako because sabi nga nila, this is a new hope for us, no? Sa ating cybersecurity industry. Okay, and let's get to know this newly enacted law, this AFASA, or the Anti-Financial Accounting Scamming Act. All right. And with us this afternoon is the Acting Director of Consumer Account Protection Office of Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. But before joining BSP, for the Consumer Account Protection Office, he was part of the Office of the General Counsel and Legal Services in 2017, also of BSP. And he was instrumental in the enactment of two of BSP's legislative agenda, the Republic Act number 11765, otherwise known as the Financial Products and Services Consumer Protection Act, which was signed into law in 2022. And of course, this one, the Republic Act 1-2010, or the Anti-Financial Account Scamming Act, which was enacted in 2024. Ladies and gentlemen, mga ka-PIX Pro, let's welcome Attorney Elaine Bert C. Regis.
And
Attorney?
he is a PIX Pro member.
Yeah.
Yes, and a PIX Pro member.
Yeah, proud PIX Pro member. Okay.
Yes, and we are very proud also.
Okay. Okay po,
Yes.
sir.
Okay. Take
Allow
it
me
away.
to share my presentation na po. No? Okay.
All right.
There you go. Okay, so visible na po. Kita na yung presentation ko.
Yes po,
Yes,
Attorney.
Attorney.
Yes, sir. Okay, so good afternoon mga ka-PIX Pro, no? So I will be discussing about this new law, no, yung Anti-Financial Account Scamming Act or yung Republic Act number 12010. Okay, so ang dali lang matandaan, no? 12010, kahit akong mahina sa math, matatandaan ko agad siya kasi tatlong numbers lang. Okay, so just to start this lecture, no, actually, AFASA is related to cybercrimes, no, cybercrime law. Well, in the Philippines, ito pala, sorry, disclaimer muna, no. Okay, so with that, no, okay, we have lots of laws dealing with financial cybercrimes in the Philippines, no. Okay, number one of that is yung Cybercrime Prevention Act, Republic Act number 10175. And we also have Republic Act number 8792, which is the E-Commerce Act. No? Why not include yung E-Commerce Act? Because actually the term hacking, you cannot find that in the Cybercrime Prevention Act. Una siyang nagamit dito sa E-Commerce Act. It's the term hacking is actually defined in the E-Commerce Act. Then we also have Republic Act number 8484, which is the Access Device Regulations Act, which has been recently amended. And ito po yung mga bago rin to, no? Yung Internet Transactions Act, which governs yung mga online transactions with yung mga online sellers. Then, of course, we have this Anti-Money Laundering Act para na po sa mga money laundering activities. And ito po yung na-mention kanina, yung Financial Products and Services Consumer Protection Act, which provides yung remedies naman po ng mga financial consumers if they have issue with the products and services that they availed from their from the financial institutions na meron silang financial product, no? Then, ito po in last, of course, we now have the AFASA. Okay, so AFASA is actually a penal statute, no? So if you're going to ask me, we're from BSP, why are we very much interested? Ba't namin sinampion yung enactment ng AFASA? Ang tingin kasi ng mga tao, BSP is just a regulator. No, sinasabi kami lang daw yung nagpiprint ng pera, no? But actually, part of the mandate of the BSP is to promote safe and stable financial system, no? And of course, one of our advocacy is to protect financial consumers. Now, when you say safe and stable financial system, currently ano ba yung how do we conduct our financial transactions? Diba? After this pandemic, nakita natin tumaas yung paggamit ng mga digital transactions when we're conducting yung mga mga financial transaction natin. And actually, the BSP encourage din yung pag-use ng digital pag-conduct ng online transactions sa ating mga financial transactions. Well, actually last year, the BSP has actually exceeded its target na in digitalizing yung mga paggamit ng financial transaction. We have a target of 50%, then ngayon yata 52% na last year. So, anong ibig sabihin nito? Okay. Sa BSP, of course, it's a good thing because we have reached a target. But as we all know, basic lang to sa criminal law, When there's an opportunity, crime will follow. So what does that mean? There's a big potential for scams. So it's a big red, scam alert, no? Now, what has the BSP done, no, to combat this, yung mga ganitong mga issue? Well, the BSP, we champion this, itong isang law, no, yung Financial Products and Services Consumer Protection Act or yung FCP Act. No? Bago lang din siya, 2022. Now, what does it do? Actually, ito yung pag meron tayong concern sa ating pag tayo mga financial consumer, kasi ako rin financial consumer din ako, if we have issue with respect to the financial product and service being offered to us by banks and financial institutions, binibigyan tayo ng remedy kung anong pwede nating gawin sa para ma-resolve yung mga financial consumer issues natin. Okay. So with the FCPA, BSP actually became a champion of consumers because under the FCPA, the rights of the financial consumers were defined. Andun na po yan. Tingnan nyo na lang po yung Republic Act number 11765. And nandun din po, nag-prescribe din po tayo ng mga obligations ng mga financial service providers. And yung pinakamaganda po dito, nagbigay po ng remedy sa mga financial consumers. Actually, under the FCP Act, the BSP has the authority to resolve financial consumer complaint. We can provide mediation and also adjudicate yung financial consumer complaints. No? So if ever meron po tayong complaints not exceeding 10 million, pwede pong pumunta kay BSP and BSP can actually adjudicate yung issue na yon. Pag may kailangan pong i-return, pwede pong mag-order si BSP na i-reimburse or i-restitute po yung financial consumer. Okay, so we have this remedy, no? But will it actually solve yung financial scams? Okay, so that's the question. To appear, hindi, no? Kasi nagbigay na tayo remedy, pero yung actual cost ng financial scams, medyo we're far from resolving it. Okay? So in the Philippines, we actually have law enforcement authorities na nakafocus po sa mga financial cybercrimes. No? We have the PNP-ACG, the NBI Cybercrime Division, the CICC, and the Department of Justice Office of the Cybercrime. No? And these law enforcement authorities and government agencies are very competent po, no? But then again, they are also having problems, no? And lalo na sa pag-resolve ng financial scams. You know the reason why? Actually, because there's this thing that we call the bank secrecy law, no? Or yung mga secrecy of deposits, no? Kasi ano ba yung nangyayari, no? So for example, once na may ma-scam yung isang tao, may na-scam na tao, no? Ang nangyayari kasi dyan, yung mga funds na nakuha sa kanya, ang ginagawa ng mga scammer, dinideposit siya sa mga mule account or sa mga financial accounts, no? Usually sa mga bank accounts. Then, once nag-investigate na yung mga law enforcement authorities, hindi nila nakikita na kasi nga hindi na natitrace kasi protected yung financial account from any point of disclosure, no? Kasi actually itong bank secrecy law, just konting lang, no, background. It was actually enacted sometime in 1955 pa, no? So medyo archaic na, medyo obsolete na siya. The purpose actually of this bank secrecy laws is, ano ba meron noong 1955, no? During that time, kakagaling ng World War II, no? So there's actually a reluctance on the part of the people to deposit money to banks, no? So, and masyadong nagiging uso yung hoarding of money. Okay, so the bank secrecy law was actually enacted to promote yung pag-deposit sa mga banks. But then again, times have changed, no? Hindi na natin siya problem ngayon. And actually, the bank secrecy laws, nagagamit na siya, no, para i-shield yung mga scammers. Okay, so we have this issue. What can we do? Okay, so we follow this principle na sinabi nung idol natin, yung kumpare ko, no, si so, ito pala, no? Ano ba yung usually na nangyayari? Ito, when investigating financial cybercrimes, first, yung nag-institute ka ng complaint pag na-scam ka. Okay? Then you go to the law enforcement authority. So what will the law enforcement authority do? Okay? Evaluate nila yung complaint mo. Then they have identified that there's kailangan ng financial account information, nakuha yung account number. nung kung saan transfer yung money, anong gagawin nila? Kailangan lang makuha information para matrack saan napunta yung funds na scam. They will go actually to the banks, no, or the financial institution. However, hindi pwedeng i-disclose ng financial institutions yung mga financial account details. Yan. So medyo nagkakaroon na tayo ng problem sa investigation. Actually, ano yung encounter namin in the BSP, the law enforcement authorities, they go to us as well, no? Sometimes they request us if we can compel financial institutions to provide the financial account information that they require for the investigation. Now, sadly, the BSP is also covered by the bank secrecy law. So we do not have that authority before to compel the financial institutions to um, provide the financial account information that they are requiring to resolve this, to pursue their investigation. So yun, parang nagkakaroon ng deadlock. Okay? So yun nga, no? Sabi natin, no? We cannot solve our problems, specifically that which is caused by the bank secrecy law, using the same thinking that we used when we created them. So what did we do? Well, it's a time for a super regulator, no? Okay. Hindi ko alam kung narinig niyo yung sound effects, no? But thank you, John Williams, for this sound effects, no? All right. Okay. So the BSP championed the enactment of the AFASA, or the Anti-Financial Account Scamming Act. So the primary purpose of the AFASA is to deter financial cybercriminals from their nefarious activities and to protect the financial industry and the transacting public from financial scammers. Now, actually, itong AFASA, it did not originate from BSP, no? Actually, it originated from the financial industry, specifically Bankers Association of the Philippines, because they have recognized na nga, no, na medyo dumadami na yung financial scams and it's already affecting the financial system. Okay, so itong konting background lang din with the AFASA, no? When it was first originally filed, ang name niya is Financial Account Regulations Act, or FARA. Now, kasi po sa legislation, ang process po usually pag mayroon pong bill na nakaka-affect sa isang government agency or under the jurisdiction ng ibang agency, pinapag-comment po kami. So, ito po, yung FARA, nung binigay kay BSP, nag-comment po si BSP, no? Kasi we recognize yung unang version ng FARA, nung AFASA, which is FARA, parang ano lang po siya, no? Kinarve out lang, nag-provide lang po siya, nag-define lang siya ng mga bagong crimes na parang kinarve out lang po sa Cybercrime Prevention Act. Then the BSP, we evaluated this bill and we noted po na parang ano siya, no? Yes, it's a good thing that we have a new law prohibiting these new crimes, no? However, parang may kulang because even though you have these laws or you have these new crimes, mahirap pa rin po siyang i-prosecute and investigate because we have this, andito pa rin yung bank secrecy laws, no? Now, the BSP has actually been pushing na rin po for the amendment of the laws on secrecy of bank deposits, pero we are still experiencing challenge on that part. So, yun nga po. So what we did, nag-introduce po kami ng mga changes dito sa Financial Account Regulation Act, no? So over time, nag-evolve siya, nagpalit yung name, naging Anti-Financial or Anti-Account Scamming Act muna, no? AASA, no? Then parang tingnan, medyo hindi yata maganda yung AASA, no? So nilagyan namin ng F, no? Yung naging AFASA, Anti-Financial Account Scamming Act. Naging AFASA para ma-ensure na siya ay mafasa. Okay? Corny, pero joke lang yun, no? Sige. Okay, so itong AFASA, no, it will also encourage the people to trust online financial transactions, no. Kung nakikita niyo po, no, meron pa rin tayong mga kababayan na nagbabayad ng kanilang mga utilities, pumipila pa sila ng mahaba sa mga mga branches kung saan ng mga utilities nila. When in fact, they can just pay using their apps, di ba? Yung mga financial transaction apps. However, there appears to be reluctance on their end kasi they know, parang natatakot sila na baka ma-scam sila, no? So with this AFASA, we can actually address that. And we all know naman yung cybercrimes, no, hindi lang siya basta hacking ng system, no? Sabi nga nila, ang pinakamadaling paraan para mag-hack ka ng system is to hack the people, no? Kasi, di ba, isa yun sa mga attack vectors, no? Yung people. So, yun po, itong AFASA, it also seeks to address that issue, no? Kung paano, lalo yung mga social engineering ng mga schemes. Okay? So, it was actually signed into law as Republic Act number 12010 last July 2024, no? So, ayan, wala pa siyang 1 year. And it actually became effective after it was published in a newspaper in the Official Gazette. It became effective August 13, 2024. Ayan, andyan ako nung signing. Ayun, yan ako sa fourth from the right. And actually, the significance of the APASA was highlighted by the president himself, no? In fact, during his State of the Nation address, like last July 22, 2024, specifically minention niya yung importance ng AFASA in preventing cybercrimes, specifically yung financial scams, no? Okay. So, question, no? Ano ba yung approach ng AFASA in fighting this cyber scam, mga financial scams, no? Just think of it, no, this way, kasi may phishing, no, nangingisda. So, meron na gagamit tayo ng trident, no? Ano ba yung trident? Ito yung sabi nung weapon ni Ultraman, no? Weapon ni Satanas. Hindi yung weapon ni Satanas, weapon ni Ultraman, no? Ni Aquaman, no? Okay, so we call this the APASA Trident, no? So madali siyang tandaan, no? CIA, no? So para sa mga cybersecurity practitioners, alam na yung CIA, no? Yung confidentiality, integrity, and availability of data, yung basic fundamentals ng cybersecurity. Hindi po yun, no? Iba po. Ito po yung CIA ng APASA, no? It seeks to criminalize financial scams. It involves financial institutions, and it also authorized BSP to conduct an inquiry on financial accounts. Okay. So let's explain this one by one. No? Okay. First, yung criminalized financial scams. Well, actually, AFASA is a criminal statute, no? Because it defines yung prohibited acts and it provides penalty for these prohibited acts, no? Okay, so what are the prohibited acts under the AFASA? Okay, so I've been talking about financial account, no? So ano po ba yung mga financial account under the AFASA, no? Just think of it ito. Ayan po yung mga naka-enumerate dito, no? Any product or service being offered by institutions. When we say institutions, these are the entities which are under the jurisdiction of the BSP. So basically, any financial product or service being offered by institutions under the jurisdiction of BSP, including e-wallets. No? When we say e-wallets, it's defined as any device which can store value. Okay? Okay, so ito po yung mga prohibited acts under the AFASA. No? We have money mule, money mule activity, social engineering scheme, economic sabotage, and other offenses. No? So let's go over them one by one. Okay, first, money muling. No? So alam nyo to mule, no? When you say drug mule, narinig na natin yun. Yung mga nagdadala ng drugs sa ibang bansa. No? So sa money muling activity, remember lang natin to, APK, no? Parang yung Android packaging kit, no? Pero ang ibig sabihin ng, ito po yung kailangan nating tandaan, when you say money muling, these are the elements. There should be act, purpose, and knowledge. Okay? So ano ba yung mga acts na ito? Ayan. What constitute money muling activities? Using, borrowing, or allowing the use of a financial account. So hindi natin sinasabi kung kaninong financial account. Pwede financial account mo or financial account of another person. Opening a financial account under a fictitious name or using the identity or identification documents of another, buying or renting a financial account, selling or lending a financial account, and recruiting someone to become a money mule. Now, focus po tayo dito sa tatlong, yung opening a financial account under fictitious name, tsaka yung buying or selling a financial account because we will encounter it later on. No? Sa ibang offense naman. Okay? So we have the act. Ay sabi natin yung next, yung purpose. The purpose must be to obtain, receive, deposit, transfer, or withdraw the proceeds. No? Meaning to say, i-transfer yung funds. And yung knowledge, the proceeds must be known to be derived from crimes, offenses, or social engineering schemes. Okay, so yun, ulitin ko, crimes, offenses, or social engineering schemes. Yung crimes or offenses, i-highlight ko lang siya because it is important kasi i-differentiate natin siya sa isa pang isang iba pang crime no na hindi uncovered ng AFASA. Okay, so how does money muling works? So basically ganito siya no. Ang ginagawa ng mga scammers, usually bumibili yan ng nag-acquire sila ng many mule accounts no. Nang-uuto sila, they entice people to become money mules. Ibibili ng account. Then once they conduct this mga scams na ginagawa nila, they will use this mule account to transfer the funds. So sa dami na nabili nilang mga mule account, ang gagawin nila, i-layer po nila, no? Ta-transfer nila yung funds na na-scam nila from one account to another. So pag nangyari yon, magiging mahirap na yung pag-trace. Lalo na ngayon, meron tayong pang secrecy law. Lalong mahirap yung pag-trace. So nagiging mahirap yung investigation. So ano nangyayari? Usually po, yung mga customers and yung mga institutions, they no longer pursue yung prosecution ng case nito because una, matagal yung process and medyo hopeless na sila. Kasi nga, ano ba nga asahan namin, hindi nga namin makuha yung kung saan napunta yung yung funds na scam from us. Okay? So that's how money muling works. That's the thing that we want to avoid. Okay, so money muling, no? May question lagi to na tinatanong pag nag-discuss kami about money muling. Is it the same as money laundering? I think you have heard of the term money laundering, no? Yung making dirty money look clean, no? Parang gano'n, parang nilaundry, parang nilabhan. Okay, so in my humble, I humbly submit that the answer to this is yes and no. Okay, so medyo malabo yun, no? Yes and no. Kasi when I say yes, money muling is actually a form of money laundering, no? Actually, in other jurisdictions or in other countries, there's no separate crime of money muling. It is considered money laundering. And actually, money muling itself is actually a form of money laundering. In the Philippines, actually, pinakamaraming case ng money laundering is actually involves money muling, no? But then I said no because under the AFASA, merong distinction yung money muling and money laundering, no? Okay. So ito po yung summary lang, no? Basically, money muling, it obtains, parang transfer ng funds, no? Yun po yung pinapunish niya. Money laundering, the act of converting or concealing an unlawful activity or yung laundering nga po, no? Yun yung pinapunish niya. So money muling, ang coverage po niya, financial accounts lang, no? Kasi Financial Accounts Scamming Act na and it was defined earlier, no? However, yung money laundering, when it comes to coverage as to the instruments used, mas broad siya, no? Because it involves money instruments or property and it's not limited only to financial account. Okay, so ito kasing money muling and money laundering, meron din po siyang tinatawag na parang predicate offense, no? Parang may nakaakibat na offense bago siya makomit. Okay, sa money laundering, meron po sa Republic Act number 9160 or yung AML law, naka-enumerate lang po doon yung mga unlawful activities na kung tawagin. But then, sa AFASA, kung makikita niyo po yung money muling, as I reiterated earlier on, no, crime, offenses, or social engineering schemes. It's couched on general terms. So medyo, if you will evaluate this now or if you will look at it, mas broad po yung coverage ng AFASA when it comes to predicate offense. So yung knowledge, almost the same lang din naman po, no? Dapat alam nyo na it is derived from crimes or offenses, no? Same with money laundering. So in terms of coverage and predicate offense, dun po nagiging different yung money muling and money laundering. Okay, so let's go to the other offense, no? Social engineering scheme, no? Actually, ito, the easiest way para sa mga hindi po ngayon lang narinig yung term na social engineering scheme, alam nyo po ba yung budol-budol, no? Pero uso naman dito sa Philippines na yung budol-budol. We all know that before, no? We have heard of that. But in budol-budol, ang ginagawa po, no? People, they will machinate, gagawa sila ng mga insidious words or nanguto ng tao to get money from them, no? Ngayon, sa social engineering scheme, parang gawin nyo lang po siyang digital version, no? And instead of money yung kinukuha sa inyo, ang kinukuha yung sensitive identifying information. When we say sensitive identifying information, ito po yung mga information na kapag nalaman nyo, pwedeng ma-access yung financial account ninyo. So ano ba yung mga yon? It includes yung mga account name, account number, OTP, yung mga ganyan, at yung mga password, no? And kapag nakuha na po yung financial account information na yon, pwede na ma-access yung account nyo. It's either para to get all of the funds that you have deposited there, you're maintaining there, or gagamitin yon to become a money mule, no? Para gawin siyang money mule account. Okay, so basically that's social engineering. So under the FASA, how is social engineering committed? Okay, misrepresenting oneself as acting on behalf of an institution or making any false representation to solicit another person's sensitive identifying information. Okay, so I think many of us has may mga na-encounter na tayo na biglang may tumatawag sa atin, no? Nagpapakilalang representative ng bank ninyo. And they will say that they will say that something happened to your account, and if you do not do something about it, or if you do not give the information that they are requesting from you, hindi mo na siya ma-access, no? Like for example, ako may tumawag sa akin dati, let's say for example, Bank A, no? Ang dami yung sinabi na nagamit daw yung account ko sa ibang bansa, no? And ang dami yung sinabi na baka daw ma-lock yung account ko if I don't give him the financial account records that he's requesting from me. And nakakatawa lang, wala naman akong account na mini-maintain dun sa bank na yun. So alam ko na ito ay scam, no? Okay, so medyo mahirap lang po ngayon ma-distinguish because nag-evolve po yung mga scammers, no? So medyo ingat po tayo sa kanilang mga scams. And yung second way of committing social engineering, ito po yung medyo generic, no? Medyo mas broad yung yung use of electronic communications to obtain another person's sensitive identifying information. So dito po pumapasok yung phishing, tsaka yung smishing, no? Kasi gumagamit electronic communications, mga email and text messages, tsaka yung mga social media messaging platforms. Okay, so how does phishing works, no? Okay, so una, let's say ito sa phishing po to, no? The fraudster identifies a target and researches the victim. Then fraudster sends a targeted and legitimate looking email. So and that email, it either contains a link or a malicious attachment na kapag in-access nung user or ng victim, may steal po yung kanilang mga financial account information, no? Okay. So I always ask, ano po ba yung pinakamahirap gawin dito sa 4 steps na to? Okay, so siguro sa mga ka-Pix Pro, alam natin na ito, no, yung first step, no, dito sa kill chain na to, yung first step, yung identification ng target. Because it will entail research pa, minsan binibili pa yung mga ng mga cyber criminals yung mga information. And the rest of the steps, it can actually be done in a matter of minutes. Kung magaling pa yung scammer, matter of seconds, no? Okay. So ito po, no, mga I think you're familiar with this, yung mga sample of phishing emails. So ano po ba yung mga red flags sa ganito? Usually, meron pong sense of urgency that if you do not do something, something will happen to your account, no? Pag hindi nyo ginawa agad, no? And lagi po merong para suspicious looking link and suspicious looking email. And ganito po, no? And there's also, kung titingnan nyo, i-evaluate nyo, medyo generic yung greeting and yung grammar and yung the use of English language medyo off, no? Kasi usually, itong mga gumagawa nito, hindi naman nila first language yung English and sometimes in-employ nila yung AI to send this messages, no? But then again, nag-evolve na rin sila. So minsan, sobrang legitimate na mukhang legitimate na yung email na sinesend nila, no? So once you click this the link na provide nila, you will be redirected to a spoof website, no? Na pag in-access nyo or pag nakita nyo, sobrang identical sa legitimate na website. But then again, kapag provide nyo na yung financial account information nyo, yung mga sensitive identifying information niyo, ang nangyayari yung mga website na yon, biglang na lang mawawala. And along with them, nakuha na yung sensitive identifying information ninyo, and you will be redirected to the actual website or dun sa legitimate website na po nung financial institution nyo. So kayo, wala kayong kamalay-malay na nakuha na pala na social engineer na po pala kayo, no? Okay. So another form is to, no, yung smishing. Ito, medyo uso to, no? And it would appear pareho lang na ang pinaka common denominator nila dito sa smishing tsaka yung phishing is yung link, no? Laging may link which will redirect you to a spoof website. Okay. So actually the BSP, as early as 2022, we have issued this memorandum number circular 2022-15, no? And we encourage financial institutions under the jurisdiction of BSP to remove clickable links in their communications, no? Actually, the kudos to our financial institutions as they are very receptive of this and they are employing this, no? So tayo po, pag may nakita po tayong links sa mga communications, sa mga text na nare-receive natin, nagpe-pretend from any banking institution, medyo red flag na po yun with let us be more vigilant, and pwede siguro i-verify po muna natin kung meron po tayong doubt and hindi po natin makapag-decide kung legitimate or hindi. Maganda po siguro tawagan na po muna natin yung financial institution natin to verify if the message is legitimate. But then again, that is already a red flag pag may link yung communication. Okay, so another form is phishing, no? Ayun, actually na-discuss ko ito kanina, no? Why did I mention this? Because actually, phishing, ito yung pinakaunang case na nagamit yung AFASA. Actually, okay. So I said that AFASA became effective in August 13, 2024. So barely a month after its implementation, yung PNP-ACG, may na-raid na po sila na scam hub, no? Yan. And they actually used the AFASA in filing cases against those people na nahuli nila. Okay. Okay. So another offense under the AFASA, another prohibited act is economic sabotage. Okay, ito yung parang sa criminal law, ito yung qualifying circumstance. No? When you commit a social engineering or money muling activity under these circumstances, no, by a syndicate or by a group of 3 or more persons confederating and conspiring with one another against 3 or more persons, individually or as a group, using a mass mailer, meaning to say, when you say mass mailer po, any device pag ginamit mo, it can send to at least 50 persons. And lastly, yung human trafficking, no? Ang dami po natin naririnig na news na may mga taong mga scam hubs, no? Na yung mga nahuhuli nila, they are traffic individuals, no? Galing sa iba't ibang countries from Southeast Asia. Okay? So ito ang ibang offenses po under the FASA, no? Yung willfully aiding or abetting in the commission of money muling social engineering schemes. Ito po yung pag-attempt, hindi na-consummate yung money muling tsaka social engineering scheme, that is also punishable under the FASA. Tapos itong last two, no? Ito yung mini-mention ko kanina na in-note po natin, no? Yung opening a financial account under fictitious name or using the identity or identification documents of another, or buying or selling a financial account, no? So kanina nakita natin to sa money muling, no? It's actually one of the acts which constitute money muling. Pero bakit siya naging other offenses pa kung money muling na po siya? Okay. So one thing that we have to remember yung sa money muling, no, 'di ba, APK, there must be an act, purpose and knowledge. Okay. So dapat existing yung tatlong elements na yun in order to prosecute money muling. But ito po, dito, napasok na siya sa other offenses, the mere act of opening a financial account under a fictitious name or using the identification documents of another, regardless of the purpose and knowledge or buying or selling a financial account, that is already punishable under the AFASA. Why po natin to kinarve out from money muling, no? Ba't hindi na kailangan yung mga ganyan, no? Kahit ito lang yung present na mga app, kahit wala yung purpose and knowledge, ba't siya papunish na agad? Kasi po, itong dalawa na to, if you will see, ang purpose po niyan, kaya natin in-indicate dyan kasi tinatry po niyang i-defeat yung KYC requirements ng mga banks, di ba? Di ba? And there's also a prevalence of selling a financial account. So kayong mga nasa Facebook ngayon, you can search, no? May mga financial account for sale. And pag sinearch nyo yan, ang daming lumalabas. Okay? So with this, no, mere act lang nang gumagamit ka ng fictitious documents, open a financial account, pwede na po kayo ma-punish, no? Kasi tayo, di ba, pag nag-open tayo ng financial account, may mga isasabit tayo, ID, di ba? Mga documentations, di ba? Para ma-identify, para ma-establish na ikaw talaga yung nag-open ng financial account. Ito mga scammers, tinatry nilang mag-move away, no? Para ikutan yung process na yon. So, ayun, no? And buying or selling a financial account, no? Bakit ka naman bibili ng financial account, no? When you can open one. So, may presumption na you're going to buy a financial account for malicious purposes, no? For fraudulent purposes. Okay? So let's go to the second spear, no? Involved financial institutions. Okay, so kanina nagbigay tayo ng mga acronym, no? Na ito po yung mga important lang na kailangan natin tandaan, no? RTC, Regional Trial Court, no? Ito yung important provisions on the second spear. The employment of risk or fraud management system, temporary holding of funds, and coordinated verification. Okay, so let's go sa risk and fraud management system. Okay, so under the AFASA, yung mga financial institutions, they are now required to ensure that the access to their clients' financial accounts is protected by adequate risk management systems and controls. Ito po yung pag-employ ng mga different fraud management controls like yung multi-factor authentication system and yung other account enrollment and verification process. Okay, so minsan kasi may nagsasabi na the mere act na nagbigay ka daw ng ng OTP, wala na po agad responsibility si financial institution. Now under the AFASA po, kailangan mo nang tingnan kung itong mga financial institution is nag-comply sa mga regulations ng BSP, specifically po sa fraud management system before po masabi na matanggalan muna siya para mawalan siya ng liability. Dapat nag-comply muna siya dito sa mga controls na nire-require ni BSP. Okay, so those institutions which complied with the requirements of the BSP will be protected from any liability. On the contrary, if they do not comply with the requirements or regulations of BSP and the FASA, they may be held liable for restitution of funds. Meaning to say, pag may nawala pong funds, pwede sila maging liable for returning that funds that were lost. And it has been proven then na they did not exercise the highest degree of diligence in preventing loss or damage, they can be held liable under the AFASA. Okay. So with this po, no, we have existing na po talaga na circular in BSP, no, on fraud management system. It's actually under BSP circular number 1140. Before pa po ma-enact yung AFASA, we are also already encouraging or financial institutions to have these adequate systems to protect fraud, no? And with the passage of AFASA, we have issued po itong memorandum number 2024-29, which reinforced po yung rules namin under circular number 1140. So under memorandum number circular 2024-29, nag-suggest po kami ng some controls that can be used by financial institutions for as fraud management system, no? Like this one, geolocation blocking, which can stop any transaction na kinoconduct from your usual location or country or trigger enhanced due diligence procedures, no? So pwede po kasi, like we can, example, no? Nandito tayo sa Manila, nag-conduct kayo ng financial transaction, naging successful. Then, after 5 minutes, na-trace ng institution ninyo na parang may nag-conduct ng transaction, let's say, sa Nigeria, no? After 5 minutes kayo nag-transact dito, no? So, possible ba yun, no? Within 5 minutes, nakapag-transfer ka sa ibang country. So, that appears to be unusual. So, pwede pong gamitin yun ng bank para i-block yung transaction, no? So, that's one of the things that we recommended na pwedeng i-adopt ng mga financial institutions. So, marami pong nakalagay doon and part of it po one of it is yung transaction velocity, no? Yung parang pababagalin yung financial, yung sunod-sunod na transaction. Because ano ba nangyayari pag nagkaroon ng account takeover sa financial account niyo, di ba? Pag yung mga scammer nakuha yung account details niyo, na-take over nila, di ba usually yung ginagawa ng sunod-sunod na transaction para malimas lahat yung laman ng financial account niyo. Now with this feature transaction velocity, magkakaroon lang ng gap sa pag-provide pag-conduct ng transaction ninyo, no? So para ma-ensure na hindi siya yung activities ay hindi fraudulent, no? Okay? So marami pa pong nakalagay doon nakasuggest. You may want to look na lang po yung sa memorandum number circular na memorandum number 2024-29. It's available in the PSP website naman po. Okay, ito yung isa pa, yung temporary holding of disputed funds. Now under the AFASA, the institutions shall have the power to hold disputed funds subject of a disputed transaction. What does it mean? Kapag po na-detect yung isang transaction na mukha siyang fraudulent, no? Pwede po siyang, di ba, magta-transfer ka ng money, pwedeng ma-hold yun, hindi pumasok sa kabilang side. Or pumasok mo sa kabilang side, hindi mo pwedeng magalaw ng recipient. Okay? So it can be done within a period specified by the BSP, but under the law, it must not exceed 30 days. Now, if you want to extend it, you must file a case in the court, no? Okay, so yung temporary holding of disputed funds, just want to clarify, this is not similar dun sa yung narinig natin na frozen account, yung pag-freeze ng account. Kasi po yung pag-freeze ng account, that is part of sa anti-money laundering activity, and who conducts yung freezing of account, ang gumagawa po nun yung Court of Appeals or in some instances yung Anti-Money Laundering Council natin. Dito po yung temporary holding of disputed funds, ang gumagawa lang po nito yung institutions, no? Sila na mismo when they detected or they receive reports na fraudulent yung certain transaction. And ito po, ang difference din niya sa freezing, pag sinabing freeze yung account mo, hindi mo talaga totally magagamit yung account mo. But pag temporary hold lang yung disputed funds under the AFASA, yung certain transaction lang po hindi papasok, no? Pero yung, or hindi magpo-proceed yung transaction na appearing to be fraudulent, pero you can still use your financial account. And when the institutions do this, the BSP should be promptly notified. Okay. So how can this be done, no? So a transaction is considered disputed if an institution received an information from another institution, no? Kasi ni-report ni Bank A kay Bank B na itong transaction na nangyari appears to be fraudulent. And kapag may complaint, no, or kung may complaint sa isang victim, no, sabi niya, oh, hindi ako yung nag-authorize yung transaction na to pero gumalaw, no? Please hold this. And kahit mismo yung institution, kasi di ba kanina minention natin may fraud management system, if na-detect po niya mismo using his own system na parang fraudulent yung transaction, and they have the reasonable ground to believe that transaction appears to be unusual, yung ng example ko kanina, without clear economic purpose, from an unknown or illegal source or unlawful activity, or facilitated through social engineering. Ayan. Okay? So paano naman po, no, pag hindi hinold yung funds, even na andun na, no, sobrang obvious na fraudulent yung activity, the institutions can be held liable then, no, if they fail to temporarily hold funds and they fail to comply with relevant BSP rules and regulation, and they can be liable for loss or damage which arose from the failure of the institution to employ this temporary holding of funds. So they can also be responsible for restitution, no, or pag-reimburse ng funds na nawala do sa account owner. Okay. So paano naman po, di ba? May nangyayari naman talaga, hindi maiwasan, no? Let's say for example, nagkaroon lang ng online transactions, no? Ang in-order ko, blue na damit, no? Then, dumating nga sa akin, blue na damit, then sinukat ko, parang ang pangit pala, no? Gusto ko pala red. And nag-online payment na ako dun sa seller ko, no? Pero parang nanghihinayang ako sa money ko. Tapos tinawagan ko yung banko, oh, bank, please hold yung funds na transfer ko dito kasi para ako na-scam, no? Parang yon, on that regard, valid naman talaga yung transaction. There's no fraudulent transaction at all. Hindi ko lang nagustuhan yon, no? Pag ganun po yung mangyayari, kawawa yung beneficiary, di ba? Yung recipient, supposedly. So, kung ganun po yung naging source ng pag-temporarily hold the fund, yung taong nag-report na yon, yung nag-fake news, they can be held liable for malicious reporting. Itong malicious reporting na po na to, may kulong po yan, no? So ingat po tayo sa pag-report din sa mga institutions na magkakos ng temporary holding of disputed funds. Okay, so another power or obligation given to the institution is the power to conduct yung coordinated verification. No? So this is similar to a hot pursuit. No? So the banks themselves, no? Kasi katulad kanina, di ba, sinabi na mag-money muling, nasa-transfer from one bank account to another, minsan one bank to another bank, or minsan e-wallet provider, yung mga funds. Now, they are now authorized, they have now the authority to initiate what we call coordinated verification process para i-trace saan napunta yung funds, no? Subject of ito, no? Yung naging subject of a disputed or yung fraudulent activity. And this is regardless whether the funds still in the banking system or na-withdraw na. And when the banks do this, the Bank Secrecy and Data Privacy Acts Data Privacy Act will not apply. So in essence, this is now one of the exemptions of the laws on secrecy of bank deposits, no? Okay. So ito yung favorite natin, yung third spear, no? Under the FASA, BSP is authorized to investigate and inquire into financial accounts. Okay, so what does it mean? Under the AFASA, BSP has now the authority to investigate and inquire into financial accounts which may be involved in the commission of a prohibited ACAR offense. When you say prohibited ACAR offense, ito yung money muling, social engineering, no? So anong gagawin natin information na yon? Pwede namin, ibig sabihin nun, we can look at the individual financial accounts. Okay? Yung mga na-transferan. So any information gathered from this investigation can be used to enforce yung AFASA. Okay? And in the implementation of the relevant provisions of the FCPA, yung isang batas, yung Republic Act number 11765. And ito, when the BSP conducts an inquiry and investigation, yung financial account na iniimbestigahan ni BSP, hindi siya pwedeng masubject sa Bank Secrecy Law and Data Privacy Act. Para naman po sa mga e-wallet, no? Kasi yung Bank Secrecy Law, it only applies to bank deposits. Pero yung iba, like yung mga e-wallet po natin, ang nag-govern naman doon yung Data Privacy Act. Although may exemption naman po dito sa mga laws na yan para ma-inquire, medyo mahirap po, pinadali po ng AFASA, no? So hindi siya mag-apply. The financial institutions cannot invoke these laws when BSP is conducting an inquiry in the financial account. So another exemption to bank secrecy law. Okay. So the authority to investigate and inquire into financial accounts shall be exercised by a duly authorized officer or body from the BSP. Now, actually, andito po, no, hindi ko pa ma-disclose now, but i-identify po namin sa IRR kung sino yung authorized body from the BSP which can exercise this. So ito, yung, di ba, minsan gagawin ng mga tao, tinatawag ng TRO or yung papa-injunction para hindi matuloy yung inquiry ni BSP. Punta sa RTC or MTC para ma-stop. But under the AFASA, hindi po pwedeng gawin yon unless yung Court of Appeals lang po. No? Court of Appeals and up shall have the jurisdiction to enjoin BSP, but lower courts, yung RTC and MTC, they cannot enjoin the BSP from conducting investigation or inquiry into financial accounts. Okay, so when the institutions or yung mga officers niya, when they cooperate with BSP, they cannot be held liable for violation of bank secrecy laws and data privacy. Okay? So, yun nga po, no, si BSP, nakuha niya information. Anong gagawin sa information na yun? Okay? So, si BSP has the authority to share this. No? We can issue rules on information and sharing and disclosure with law enforcement authorities and other competent authorities with respect to the sharing of the information that we acquired from our investigation pursuant to AFASA. No? So pwede namin ibigay sa mga police and they can now continue with the investigation. Okay. So paano naman kung may nag-prevent kay BSP, no? Ayaw makipag-cooperate. Ito po, no? There's something we call parang some something akin to obstruction of justice. Any person who knowingly or willfully obstructs PSP's investigation shall be penalized. Okay, so ito rin po, may kulong din po ito. No? So the PSP basically cannot be um, obstructed or denied of its power to inquire into financial account. No? Unless siguro may showing na nag-abuse ka, pero hindi mo lang gagawin yan, of course. Okay, so under the AFASA, the BSP is also authorized to file for cyber warrants and issue orders as provided under the Cybercrime Prevention Act. Because under the Cybercrime Prevention Act po, ang mga agencies lang na pwede mag-apply ng cyber warrants ay NBI and PNP cyber units. But under the AFASA, BSP is also given the authority, no? Hindi naman po namin tinanggalan ng authority si NBI and PNP. Now, BSP is parang dinagdag lang po as to the entities which can apply for cyber warrants and issue preservation orders. Now, knowing fully well that the NBI and PNP are more competent po, no? They have this expertise in handling digital evidence and yung mga cyber warrants, we can actually request their assistance in the enforcement and implementation of mga cyber warrants and related orders for violations of AFASA. Okay, so mabalik lang po tayo, no? So yung kanina, ito yung situation natin when it comes to the investigation of financial scams. So ganyan pa rin po ba under the AFASA? The answer, of course, is no. So what will be the regime now under the AFASA? Okay, so kanina dito tayo naputol, no? The complaint is warranted and you need financial account information. So what will the law enforcement do? The law enforcement authority can go and refer the complaint to the BSP. And the BSP can order financial institutions to provide the financial account information that they require. No? And once the financial institutions provide the requested information, they can now share the information to the law enforcement authority and appropriate agencies, and the investigation can now continue and the offense can now be prosecuted. Okay? So medyo natulungan na po natin, no, yung law enforcement authorities natin when it comes to the investigation of ganito na frauds. Opo. So kanina, may specific purpose lang po kasi yung disclosure, no, yung use ng mga financial account information na makukuha ni BSP, no, lalo na pag sinare na law enforcement authorities para sa protection din po natin, no, para ma-ensure tayo na hindi gagamitin sa ibang para sa ibang paraan yung ibang usage yung mga financial account information natin na nakuha ni BSP, no. So any person na may it be bank officers or government employees or any person po na dinamit you or dinisclose yung financial account information na nakuha nila as a result of the investigation, they can be held liable and pwede pong makulong din under the AFASA. Okay, so here are the criminal penalties po under the AFASA, no? For money mule, 6 to 8 years ang imprisonment. For social engineering, 10 to 12 years, no? Okay, so medyo mabigat siya, no? By 6 years and 8, but not lower than 6 years, no? Kasi when we were actually proposing the appropriate penalty, mas naisip namin po na bigatan na. Kasi po pag below 6 years, pwede po kasi yung mga criminals, pwede pa sila mag-apply ng probation. Meaning to say, hindi siya makukulong. May certain conditions lang for his liberty. But with the AFASA, ang penalty po na naka-impose is higher than 6 years. So ensure na makukulong po siya. And yung social engineering, mas yung mabigat kasi mas mabigat siya from money mule kasi yung money mule pwede po kasing na local lang din pero pinagamit niya talaga yung financial account niya. Social engineering kasi talagang may intention ka to defraud another person. And ngayon po, kung may kilala kayong scammer, ang advice nyo na siguro sila na wag naman biktima ng mga senior citizen because we all know na mga senior citizen po ang laging nagiging biktima, no? Lalo po kasi hindi naman po sila ganun ka-familiar sa mga recent technology, so na-victimize po sila. But then, kapag sa AFASA, pag ang victim ng social engineering ay isang senior citizen, mas mabigat po yung penalty, 12 years, no? And kapag economic sabotage, ito po, mabigat to, life imprisonment, no? So ang tanong, paano kung 2,000 lang yung nawala or 500 pesos lang yung nakuha? Then napatunayan na existing po lahat ng mga elements ng economic sabotage, life imprisonment pa rin po ba may impose doon? The answer is yes, kasi wala naman pong nilagay na element no nung offense yung amount na involved. Basta existing lang po yung four circumstances, any of the four circumstances, pwede na po mag-economic sabotage. Okay? So civil liability po, the BSP can impose sanctions to any director of officers of the institution kapag nakita po na meron silang fault, and we can also penalize the institution kapag hindi po sila nag-comply sa mga rules and regulations ni BSP. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, we are given 1 year. The BSP is actually mandated to issue the IRR for this. And the law requires us to coordinate with DOJ, the ICT, NBI, and PNP, and to consult with relevant stakeholders. And we already did this. We have actually prepared na po yung IRR, and we have already exposed this. And in the process of crafting the IRR, we solicited comments and suggestions of different agencies. Ito po mga to, and actually dinagdagan pa po namin, and pati po yung mga financial industry, no? And actually the circulars po na to, yung mga proposed IRR, yung mga draft IRRs, they are actually uploaded po sa BSP website, no? Andito na po siya, no? You can actually read this, no? Expose na naman po siya sa public. You just access it in the BSP website. And actually, medyo matagal na po to. We have revised this na, and we're in the process of finalizing it. Now, we have 1 year, no, from the implementation or the effectivity of the PASA, August 13, 2024 naging effective. So we have until August 13, 2025 to issue the IRR. But the BSP, in-expedite na po namin yung issuance nung yung completion ng IRR. So expect po anytime lalabas na po yung one or siguro lahat na po nung IRR, no? I think by second quarter of 2025. Okay. So ito, key takeaways lang po. The BSP is no longer the country with the strictest bank secrecy regime, and tandaan po natin yung FASA trident in combating cybercrime, no? Financial cybercrime, criminalizing money mule and social engineering scheme involving financial institutions, and authorizing BSP to inquire into financial accounts. And lastly po, BSP circulars implementing the FASA will be issued, I think, by second quarter of 2025. Okay. So, ayan po, no? So, in ending, actually po, sinasabi nila shared responsibility ang pag-protect ng financial account. Kami sa BSP, we don't think of it that way na. Kasi it's more than a shared responsibility na. Shared responsibility to protect yourself, di ba? Kailangan mong gumawa ng acts. You have to protect your financial account, no? But para hindi magamit, no? Para hindi maubos yung pera mo, that is shared responsibility. Pero kami, ang thinking namin, you protect your financial account para hindi siya magamit to defraud other people. So with that, I think we are in the view that protection of financial account is more than a shared responsibility. It is now shared humanity. Okay. So with that, I end my presentation. Thank you very much for listening.
Wow. Thank you, Attorney Elaine.
Thank you
Grabe.
po.
Grabe.
Ang
dami
ganda
ano,
nitong
dami
AFASA.
thumbs up. Ang galing, no? Well thought, well studied, and really a grounded law, no?
Yes, but thank you po.
Talagang base talaga sa kung anong nangyayari ngayon. And marami tayong questions, but unfortunately, we will
Yes.
Sorry po,
wait.
natagalan.
Oo. Hindi, we have to wait also until na
Apa.
lumabas yung IRR.
Yes po.
Yes, oo. Yung mga questions dito sa ating session for this afternoon, we will take note of those questions, and then sasagutin natin yan dun sa ating part 2,
Okay po.
no,
Sige.
nitong AFASA, no? Ang grabe itong AFASA is the Mufasa, no? Is the Mufasa. And thank you. Let me just read, meron ng dalawang nakaagaw ng pansin sa akin dito sa ating mga viewers.
Comment.
Una, si
Ng
VP.
sharing, Attorney Elaine.
Sige po.
Yeah, oo. Meron dito si Tops ulit, sabi niya, just to turn heads around on the new law. It is given that these controls are already set in both policy and practice, but threat actors still leverage on the most vulnerable asset of the financial sector, which is people, both within the banks or consumers. We must be one step ahead from threat actors to understand and push for more awareness against fraud. Fraudsters also do their homework on circumventing controls whenever new regulations are released, as they need to sustain their fraud operations and money laundering. This is my personal opinion only as a cyber advocate and PISPRO member.
Yes.
That came from TOPS, okay?
Yes, actually we agree with that, Boto. That's one of the reasons po why we are conducting this yung mga education campaign, because one of the tools in fighting this cyber frauds, no, yung mga financial, is to have an educated public po, no.
Yeah.
Walang mabibiktima kung aware po tayo kung paano protektahan yung financial accounts natin.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we will do that together, attorney.
Yes, well, thank you.
With
At
PISPRO.
saka ngayon, hindi na dead end. No, hindi na dead end yung magiging complaint ng mga
Opo.
ng mga victims.
Yes, and we will work po talaga with relevant government agencies po to ensure na effective po yung maging implementation nitong AFASA. Because whole of government and whole of nation approach po talaga ang kailangan natin to combat itong mga financial fraudsters na to.
Gusto ko yung it's now a shared humanity.
Yeah.
Sa cybersecurity din kasi, ang sinasabi natin, we are no longer just protecting and securing systems and network infrastructure.
Yes.
We are now protecting and securing the community. Yan na natin, kaya bumababa tayo sa community dahil nandun talagang ang binibiktima nila yung vulnerable sectors talaga, yung senior citizens, kawawa, yung mga nalapit sa amin na problema, ang kanilang retirement, na na biktima sila, tapos walang puso talaga tong mga scammer na to, kaya talagang kailangan talaga yung batas pukpok talaga sa ulo nila.
Yes.
Anyway, BP Ruby.
Meron pang isang message lang dito. Gusto ko lang basahin, Mr. Chair. Coming from VP Roma. Hi po, good afternoon. Wala pa ding kuryente po dito sa amin now sa Baler and San Luis, Aurora. Konti charge ng CP. Sana po makatapos sa panunood. I hope VP Roma, nakatapos ka talaga ng panunood dito sa KC natin. And no, thank you so much. Sana magkaroon na ng kuryente sa inyo diyan sa Baler, sa San Luis. Yes.
Baler natin.
All right. So, again, thank you so much. Nag-extend tayo, but it's all worth it. If we can just get a message from the Secretariat of the AFASA IRR Technical Working Group. Sir Jean? Siya nag-organize din ng lahat nito. Thank you, ha?
Yes po, again, to PIXPRO po, thank you so much po for inviting us to inform din po, maging venue po itong organization nyo para ma-inform po talaga yung public regarding po dito sa new law and ma-familiarize po sila sa intricacies po ditong bagong batas. And I know po that yung original plan po talaga natin is to have a Q&A, pero since as mentioned po by Attorney Bert, currently fina-finalize pa po yung implementing rules and regulations, no? So once na ma-finalize po yun, we hope that we can have the Q&A session po with the audience para po mas masagot po in detail yung mga questions po nila. Alam ko po maraming mga questions, clarifications na nasa isip ngayon ng mga audiences natin. Hopefully, in the next few months po, ma-expose na po natin yun. And pasensya na po, medyo maingay yung mga aso. Thank you po.
Thank you.
Okay.
Marami ka bang aso, Jean?
Meron po, madami.
Pareho lang tayo.
Kami rin po, actually, if I may po, no, we would like to thank Pixpro po for giving us this, this opportunity, this platform for us to inform the public nga po ng AFASA, no, and how it can be really helpful po talaga, specifically for us who are using yung mga online financial accounts po. No? Para hindi tayo matakot sa paggamit ng financial account, we encourage people to use digital transactions, pero we want them to be vigilant din po talaga. Kasi yun po talaga yung trend na ngayon. And yun na yung future talaga, yung online financial transactions.
We
Thank you, sir.
agree. Okay, VP Ruby?
Yes, thank you, Attorney Elaine, and again, Sir Jean. We will contact each other, no, para sa part 2 nito. At again, isa na naman pong episode ang ating nasubaybayan, no, sa ating kwentuhang cybersecurity. Maraming salamat sa inyong pakikinig, panonood, pag-tune in. And see you again next Friday. Mr. Chair,
Okay,
would you do the honors?
Friday na naman at sabi ng karamihan ay happy weekend. Pero dahil hindi natutulog ang mga fraudsters, hindi natutulog ang mga scammers, kaya tayo sa cybersecurity, happy lang.
Happy lang, walang
weekend.
Maraming salamat.
Salamat.
Thank you
Jean,
po.
thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Maraming salamat po.
Attorney, thank you so much.
Thank you po.
Bye.
Thank you, Live po.